I got this post from R&B Radar on X, and they said, feeling all nostalgic vibes was SWV's amazing Tiny Desk performance. And it's absolutely true. They sounded great. It was them. They had some backup singers. One of the backup singers was Coco's son. The audience was really into it. And there was a comment on the video, and they said, whoever's been putting together these Tiny Desk concerts lately should get a raise. I absolutely agree. Nelly Furtado, Sean Paul, Shaka Khan, like they have been hitting it out of the park this year, and it's not even July yet. That's how good this has been. But I really like SWV. Like I think it's sad how their career kind of just it ended too quick because I don't know, man. They start bickering. It's hard for girl groups to stay together, man. They start bickering, and then it's just you guys were so good, but it's good that they're together now. They're on tour with Escape, and I'll get into that later. But when I look at the girl groups of the 90s, usually when people rank them, if we're going by sales and hits, it's usually like Destiny's Child, TLC, probably In Vogue, and SWV. My list is a little bit different. I always have In Vogue number one because they were first. You know, of course, there's the Supremes and all these other groups, but as far as the 90s goes, they was the first 90s girl group. And it's like, the first time I saw them, it's like, who are these beautiful women? They look amazing. And then they have these angelic voices. Like they were 4 lead singers. It wasn't like there was one lead. No. They all could sing. Terry, whom I love, Terry, Cindy, Maxine, and Dawn. Every song, they switched off vocals, man. There was no weak vocals in that bunch. And the production of Foster McElroy, I love In Vogue. I wish the foursome would get back together. I mean, Terry and Cindy has been on tour with this. She's not new. She's been with them for a long time. So they got their In Vogue trio out there. But I wish the foursome would get back together and just make one more album. But you know, that probably would never happen. I would have TLC second. Yeah, I'll put TLC second. You may be able to create another In Vogue. You can never create a TLC. T-Bob's vocals is unique, and the way she blended with Chili was always wonderful. And Left Eye was the point person of that group. She was more than just a rapper. She was the visionary. She designed their clothes. I miss Lisa Left Eye Lopez so much, because she was super creative. I listened to the rap she did on You Know What's Up. Totally clean, no cursing, nothing. She was that spectacular. Third, I would have SWV, and fourth, I would have Destiny's Child. Now, again, this is not a knock against Beyonce, Kelly, Michelle, LaToya, Latavia, Farrah. I'm not knocking them. It's just, if you said I have a choice between listening to one Destiny's Child album and one SWV album, I'm choosing SWV's debut album. Some people like the second album. I love It's About Time. And written and produced mostly by Brian Alexander Morgan. Week, You're Always on My Mind, Anything. That dude is a fantastic singer, writer, producer. And the sad thing is, they had all that success, and then the next album they kind of wanted to branch out a bit. And Brian did songs for them, but none of those songs were released. And I don't know if it's because of SWV, I don't know because of the label or the management, but his songs never got released. He goes off working with different people like Usher and other folks. And in fact, Rain, which was on the third album for SWV, was supposed to have been for Brandy. The Never Say Never album. So in fact, him and Brandy were supposed to go into the studio to cut it. And then Rodney Jerkins, who was Brandy's principal producer, basically said that song's not going to make the album. So Brian got the song back. RCA, who's the parent company of SWV, contacted Brian, knowing that Brian didn't have any songs off that album, because Can We is on that third album. Like, You're the One was produced by All Star, which is amazing. And then the third album had Can We by Missy and Timbaland, which was amazing. But they didn't really have anything else that was like a huge, huge hit. And they asked Brian, would he work with them again? He said, sure, because they knew if the Rain song was available. Coco comes in one day, she cuts her vocal. Then Taj and Lily comes in the next day, they cut their vocals. And then we have Rain. And Brian says that he feels like Rain is their best song because it's been sampled a lot. It's been remade a lot. It became like a TikTok challenge type thing. And vocally, he said this is because he wanted Coco to sing it differently than from the first stuff. And it was. Her voice is sexier, smoother, silkier. It was just really, Rain is so good. And their harmonies are fantastic. So the sad thing is by that album, Coco, Taj, and Lily, it just is disintegrated, and we just never got another SWV album. But it's good that they're together. Like I said, they're going to go on tour with Escape, who's now also a trio because Latasha Scott won't come back because she's beefing with them. And I think R&B groups of the 80s, of the 90s, 80s too, but in the 90s and the 2000s, if you have a beef in your group, go talk to New Edition. New Edition has figured it out. Like, hey, man, we can make more money together than we do apart. Yeah, New Edition have their own issues, and they kind of do their own thing. Sometimes Ralph and Johnny do their thing, and then sometimes BBD and Bobby do their own thing. But when it comes time to make real money, like they got a residency in Vegas coming up, when it's time to make real money, they stick together. And they probably saw, like, New Kids on the Block. New Kids on the Block got this thing, man. Every summer, they got a tour or a cruise or something or a festival. Like, the guys are always together. They have never broken up. Donnie Wahlberg doesn't have to come back every summer. He has Blue Bloods. He's been making Blue Bloods money for 12 years. He don't need that cash. And Jenny McCarthy, his wife, she's on The Masked Singer. Like, the Wahlbergs don't need any money, but Donnie loves those dudes and he loves performing. So after every season, after Blue Bloods, he comes back, joins new kids. Those dudes could have said to Donnie, hey man, you're making movie. I mean, you got Blue Bloods. We want to make some money. We love you, but we're going to replace you and just go on tour as, either go as a foursome or just have another new singer. No, they said, no, we're going to wait for Donnie and make this real money. And I think New Edition saw that with them and the Backstreet Boys. Like, no, we are better together than we are apart. And I wish more R&B groups had that same type of mentality. I wish they did. Going back to Brian for a second. So he wrote Weak. And Weak, first of all, Coco didn't want to sing the song. And and the reason I know this stuff, I've been watching a lot of his interviews. He's done a lot of different interviews over the years. Go watch the R&B Money podcast, Tank's podcast. Yeah, he had an interview with him. But he wrote Weak for he wrote Weak about Shantae Moore. Because she was a younger singer, he was a younger singer, but he was almost like, it was like a crush. He was almost like, I wish I could have her, but I can't. And if you read the lyrics of Weak, you can tell that's a dude pointing his heart out saying, oh my God, I love this woman so much, but I can't. That's why I think there are a lot of great female songwriters out there, but men got this thing, man. Men can write breakup songs, crush songs, marriage songs. Like, dudes are so good of emoting. I'm not saying they're better than women, but just like Smokey Robinson, Lionel Richie, Babyface, like R. Kelly in his prime, Joe, like there's so many, Gabble and Huff, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Like, there's so many guys, man, who could write songs for women and dudes. Just talking about love, man. They were so good. So, hey, shout out to Kadeem Hardison, man, who was married to Shantae Moore. Because Brian Alexander Morgan couldn't get her. But it's one thing for Dwayne Wayne to date Denise Huxtable and Whitley Gilbert on TV. But for Kadeem Hardison to not only date Shantae Moore, but to marry Shantae Moore and to have a baby with Shantae Moore, if I had a Mount Rushmore of black men, it'd be Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Stevie Wonder, and Kadeem Hardison with the Dwayne Wayne glasses. Because in no universe should he be able to get that woman. It's like, he gave me hope. Because I had bought, when I was younger, I had got some of those flip-up glasses. And because I was a skinny dude, I was kind of nerdy. I was in college. I remember when I first saw Shantae Moore, I was like, oh my God, she's amazing. And then when I saw Kadeem was dating her, I was like, oh man, he got a date with her? That's great. He married her. He had a baby with her. And the crazy thing is, they've been busted up for years now. And she still loves him. I mean, they'll never get back together for whatever reason. But she still has love for Kadeem. Shout out to Kadeem. I salute you, sir. But back to SWV. So be sure, I got off the path. So be sure to check out SWV's performance on Tiny Desk. It's really good. Tell me your favorite Tiny Desk performance this year. And who do you think would be great? Who would be a next great artist that you'd like to see on Tiny Desk, either from the 90s, from the 80s, or even from the 2000s or 2010s?